Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about creating a resume, a perfect one-pager resume that can get you into a dream university or can get you a dream job. I've done a lot of them, so today I'm going to share my experience and my tips to create a perfect resume for your application. If you're interested, please continue watching this video.
Back to San Francisco.
Our minds may change.
This is going to be a very hands-on video. We're going to go through my resume, which is a one-pager resume created by standards of Stanford University. I actually went to their MBA section and they have the whole explanation about the resume they want to see. As I mentioned in the intro to this video, we need a one-pager resume because it's typical in many countries to create just one page for every 10 years of work experience, and the majority of you will only have like 10 or maybe 12 years of work experience, but one pager is enough. What's really important for you to understand, when people look at your resume, they have maybe like 20 seconds and you need to grab that attention. You need to tell them in those 20 seconds the most important things about you. So creating a resume is an art. I know there are so many things you want to share. Like I have this pile of different prizes from school, like best singer in grade 5, best whoever during the gym, best whoever during the concert, whatever. I have a lot. But the art here is to dig out the most important stuff and impress. Okay, this is gonna be my resume back from 2015. I was in Russia and I was applying for my MBA and actually got interviewed by MIT. I was accepted to University of Florida, accepted to Johns Hopkins. So this resume actually works. Now let's go through the details. Detail number one, it's a very blank resume. It doesn't have any fancy fonts. It doesn't have any designer solutions. Just leave it like that. Arial or Calibri as a font, number 11 or number 12, and picture is a cliche, so do not include a picture on your resume. Especially in America, for example, you cannot judge a person by his or her appearance. So the most important section of the resume is called summary. Why is it important? Again, because I've told you, maybe a person who looks at your resume has like 20 seconds. So you're like, come on, here is the most important part, summary. Your prizes, your achievements. Why are you so special? In my case, I've written about building companies, and again, you see a lot of numbers. Yes, my companies didn't have a lot of revenue back then, but I highlighted that this is a huge 12 billion market. I was accepted to 500 Startups Accelerator program. A lot of people don't know what an accelerator program is, but I'm telling them the acceptance rate is less than 5%. This means it's really competitive. It means I've definitely done something right if I got accepted. Then I had some awards that I wanted to highlight, and I wanted to highlight the international nature of those awards. So I wrote the name of the country that awarded me that award. Oh my god, so many award. It's funny. Okay. Then we're gonna go to work experience section, which is the most important section for basically anything except for a PhD. For a PhD, it's gonna be really important to mention your academic achievements. For MBA, for masters, for job applications, of course, everybody wants to look at your current experience that you already had. So you're gonna start with the most recent one. And again, you're putting in the company, you're putting in your position, and if it is a salesperson, please do not waste your time explaining what a salesperson does, because everybody knows that he's making cold calls, selling, closing deals, blah, blah, blah. That's not interesting, because I know what a salesperson does. Your task here is to show that you are an outstanding salesperson. You need to show how many deals you've closed and maybe tell that that's 20% above the average that a manager does. Maybe you got promoted in 1 year, and on average, people get promoted from this to that position in 2 years. Maybe you've got a prize being the best salesperson in Q2 2016. Highlight that. That's important. Maybe you close deals with big names like Samsung and Apple. Write that down. Please do not explain what you do. Like, that's obvious. Again, in my case, I was writing about bringing a new concept, forming advisory board, and I made sure I include some buzz names like former Airbnb employees. And when I talked about a marketing strategy, I made sure I included numbers. And again, when we're talking about, this is a very American thing, now listen carefully. If I'm talking about my channel, yes, I can say that I have now more than 800,000 subscribers. But I can also say I have more than 20 million views. Which number is more impressive? Of course, the second one. So make sure you're including bigger numbers. Then we scroll down. Yes, I've had another job. I had another company. I mentioned that company there, mentioned some of the experiences that I've had, mentioned some of my successes. And then we go down to education. When we're talking about education, it's not really important to mention like how you were the best in class or whatever. Your GPA is enough, but only if you have work experience. If you don't have work experience, then highlight your successful stories during the studies, for example, conferences or publications, or maybe being top 5% of the class. Like, again, it depends on your background. In my case, I had a lot of work experience, so I mentioned my university and school education and just mentioned my GPA, and that was it. I mentioned prizes from back in 2005, but I just thought they were super big because I won Olympiads in English in my home country, so I thought that's really important. So I mentioned those, I mentioned some recent awards. I made sure that I explained who awarded me that, like Opportunity Award by the US Department of State, of Education, Cultural Affairs. That sounds really, really good. So make sure you mention that as well. Additional information, maybe you have something fun, maybe you have something you need other people to know, like I was included in this publication about 16 women founders making moves in tech. I think that sounds great. Then I was a volunteer singer, this is my volunteer work, and I mentioned that I'm accredited as an educational agent. I think because I spent time on that, I wanted to mention that. And then the very last like 2 lines are your hobbies. Just for fun. Maybe there is a person with the same hobby on the other end and there is a chance you'd connect better. So I mentioned ballet, I mentioned having been to 26 countries, being a pop singer, YouTuber, etc. That worked actually. When I applied to University of Florida, they got back to me with accepting my application, and also I had a handwritten note from the dean who said that, wow, I've actually been to Russia, I've seen Russian ballet and you guys are the best. I'm so proud that we might have a student like you who does ballet. So that was a nice touch. So make sure you mention that. Again, there are so many ways to create a resume. This is my approach, and this is based on Stanford's standards for their MBA applicants. I've looked at this resume with a couple of people who work for big corporations and they approved it. But there are also other techniques, and don't forget about the cover letter, right? When you apply for a job, there's also an email that comes with your resume. So I found some really good resources for you guys. They are on Skillshare.com. There are a lot of different classes that you can take about creating a resume, and I think it's really important that people who are providing those classes actually have experience of recruiting, etc. And I think it's really good to hear their point of view, because I've never been like a recruiter in a huge corporation. Go ahead, check out the link below to get some more tips about your resume, because again, this is such an important thing, and this is something that represents you as a person. By the way, Skillshare is not just about resumes. If you are willing to enhance other skills, go ahead and check it out. Because Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes in design, business, technology, resumes, CVs, cover letters, whatever. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes from experts working their fields, so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love. And by the way, annual subscription is less than $10 a month, which means that, wow, education is so affordable these days. There's so many resources, it's just up to you to go ahead and grab them. Another very important thing, so you've seen how much space every section takes on your resume, and this is how much time in your life you're actually spending on all of that. So yes, work is like 80% of my life. Hobbies are like 10% of my life, and there are some other achievements that are like 10% of my life. So make sure when you're preparing for your application, make sure you concentrate on really important things, because sometimes people are like, oh, Marina, I don't have any volunteer experience, and you talked about the section where you talk about volunteer experience. Do I need to go ahead and like concentrate on that? I'm like, no. Because number one is general summary, your work experience. Concentrate on being successful on your workplace, concentrate on taking your exams if you need them, and when everything is really good looking, really nice, then go ahead and do the volunteer experience. Because again, this is like the last 2 lines of your resume. Then maybe go and concentrate on your hobbies. This is a really good guideline for you on how to do your time management during your life.
and organization, time management, personal hygiene.
That was it, guys. These were my thoughts about creating a good resume. This was my example of a resume who got me into different universities and the highlights, my best results in this life. If you like this video, please hit like. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, there is a button the same color as my dress and lips today. Please hit it to not miss my next video. My question to you is, what are you going to use the resume for? Is it going to be for education? Is it going to be for work? Or maybe something else? Please comment down below because it's going to give me more ideas on how to help you in my next videos. Looking forward to seeing you in the next vlogs, and bye bye.